Hi, friends. Welcome back. This is Caitlin, and I'm so excited to be here with you and Pink and Man. Last week we made, I have it right here. Should have had it ready. Last week, when we were live together, we made a really fun, what did I do with it? I literally just had it. I'll find it. We made a really fun Christmas coffee slash hot chocolate card. And we did foil and we did an embossing layer, like a dry embossed textured layer. And then we used the cutest little Santa mug. And so today I wanted to, in honor of Thanksgiving coming up, I wanted to kind of make a spin on that card, but Thanksgiving related, something that you could take if you wanted to have a thank you card for the host on Thanksgiving if you're not hosting. Yeah, I just thought it was fun. I want to kind of soak up as much fall as I can now before it's all winter and Christmas all the time. So yeah, and I got a bunch of comments from people saying they enjoyed the coloring last time. So I thought doing some more coloring and showing you a different version of the mug today would be kind of fun. So I see Maria, Virginia, Becky, Annette, Susan, Barbara, Mary. Thank you all so much for coming to hang out. This one's going to be pretty fun, I think. We're going to do a similar idea. Oh, look, it's literally in my stack. There's a Santa card. So we did this foiled coffee background. Then you can, how do I angle it? There you go. You can see we have like the wood grain dry embossed layer. And then we added our little mug. So tonight we're going to do a similar layout, right? Like when you see them side by side, you'll see that they're related. But we're just going to change up some of the elements and give it a little bit more of a warm and cozy feel, where this is more to me of like a crisp winter card. We're going to go warm and cozy. So if you are up for that project with me, let's get switched over. Here we go. Hey, Sarah, thanks for checking in. I'm glad to see you found us. It's resituated, so it's ready to go back in the thing. So the last time we were together, we used the Christmas mug set, like I said. What's going on with this camera? But there is a fall mug set, which we mentioned as well last week. So this is the Cocoa for You stamp set. So it has the cute little winter bear, the fox, and I love that the bear could be winter or fall. Oh my gosh, scarecrow, words, the scarecrow and the pumpkin. And then all these sweet little fall details. You get another tall one that you could kind of stick coming out of the mug if you wanted to. The ones I stamped today that we're going to play with are the fox, the pumpkin, acorn, and the leaves. And then I thought we would go like warm autumn blessings as like a really nice, just like happy thank you or like missing you kind of like family themed card. I just thought that would be super cute. So as I said, I grabbed some different elements to use for all of our layering. So let's start from the bottom up. Let's start with our background, which today we're going to ink blend. There we go. Ink blend instead of foil. Put you into a safe spot. I have this piece of white cardstock. It's 5.5 by something. So let's 5.5 sides. So 5.5 by 4.25. Okay, actually we'll save that. That might be our sentiment strip later. And I grabbed the autumn leaves stencil, which you can see has the matching autumn leaf shapes for the stamp set that we used earlier in the fall, which is really fun. You could ink blend this and then just stamp, layer the images right on top. Let me grab some washi. And I did grab some distress inks for today, just because the Pink and Main palette for inks is a little limited and it's a little brighter and cheerier than the feel that I'm going for. At the beginning of the fall, I like to use colors that are more like the construction and the park inks, where they kind of just have a little bit of that um, fall feel, right? Like it's a little bit of an orangey, a little bit of an olivey green, but they're still vibrant. Where for the end of fall and like the more Thanksgiving, November kind of cards, I really like a much darker, um, I just feel like it gives that warm, cozy vibe, that darker, cozier feeling. And because I'm using distress, I am going to go in with just the foam blenders, the mini foam blenders. So we're going to start with Ripe Persimmon, and this is going to act as our like quote unquote brighter orange. And I like to try, when I'm placing my blender down, try to pick these areas that have a wider space of stencil. I think it just helps so you don't end up with any like harsh edges. Peeling foam over here. Okay, so we're just going to kind of lay down some spots. Shawnee checking in from Vegas. Melissa from Nova Scotia. Thank you guys. Then we're going to go in with Rusty Hinge, kind of on the edges. And I definitely want some good overlap on these because that's what's going to give us that really nice kind of fall changing leaves feel. Kind of a two-toned, or in some cases, maybe even three-toned blend. With these foam blenders versus a brush on the stem, sometimes you really need to like wiggle that ink in there. So that's Rusty Hinge. Melissa said this is one of her favorite sets. Mine too. Just makes me happy. My red today is going to be Fired Brick. Again, going in kind of with that deeper. It's not like a bright stop sign red. Definitely has that deeper, darker, fiery feel. Again, anything that has kind of those like burnt or fire or anything like that in the name is probably going to give you that warm and cozy, right? Warm colors tend to give a warmer feeling. And we're going to add just a tiny bit of brown to this. Just this is really pretty, but it's still a little like brighter than I'm going for. And honestly, the brown I might just keep to the edges just to kind of like make a little bit of a vignette effect. This is a walnut stain because this is going to be a full panel. We're not going to trim this down. So this is a cool way where we can kind of define and emphasize that edge. Speaking of, the center part isn't, you're not even going to see it. We're going to cover it with another panel. So we could have just left that open, honestly. But if you see this and you're like, oh my gosh, no, I love that. You could definitely do this and add your fox or your mug, whatever your image is, right into the center. And that would be fine too. You don't have to add that inner layer. I just think sometimes with a pattern like this or like with our foil, sometimes it can be a little busy for an image to go right on top of. Of course, I put my finger down there and now I have a little smudge. Let's go back with Fired Brick. Go. I didn't even have to pick up any extra ink. It just worked with what was right on the edge already. So you can see even just that is beautiful. I kind of just want to make a couple panels of that. Just, I don't even know. I guess we could put like a word on there. It's just pretty. Okay, so we're going to set that to the side. I'll clean that off later. All right, so the next layer that I want to do, the same idea kind of as our Santa, we're going to go in with brownstone cardstock, which is like a little bit of a medium to deeper kind of craft brown. It is darker than Pebble, which if you've been here before, you know I'm a fan of the Pebble cardstock. But again, for fall, I just think it's nice to change it up a little bit. I'm pretty sure for this guy, I want to be able to see all of those leaves, just like how we wanted to see our foil. So yeah, we're going to do an inch off of each side. So we're going to go 3¼ by 5. Yeah, no, that's only a half. By 4½. You guys are just gonna like let me go get away with that? 4½. I knew that didn't look right. Okay, so that's gonna be our inner panel, right? So we're still gonna be able to see all of that beautiful, warm, leafy feel all the way around. And you could just, again, leave it plain, but I love adding some tone on tone texture, the same way we did with our wood grain. So I have the Knit 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to take a second to try to get this lined up mostly straight. It doesn't have to be exact, but we want it to look pretty. And I am going to feed this through my dot cutting machine. This one, I think, only gets one plate because it's a 3D folder. And this is really snug. Probably shouldn't have done that. Never force your folders through. You can break your machine. It's not good enough. And that's the tricky thing too, is sometimes with your embossing folders, especially the 3D versus like a regular embossing folder, you have to figure out exactly what your like plate system is. It just doesn't seem correct. That's definitely wrong. I know I've used this before though. How did we use it before? No, still only got half. Interesting. Let's try one more time. See if I can get this into the grooves. Mm-mm. What happened? Maybe this is just a sign. Maybe I'm not supposed to use this one today. Although, you know what? So I put this side through. Sorry for everybody that just joined while I was like not even on screen. I put this side through and it got stuck. So then I put it through the other way and it got stuck, which is a more of a big shot issue slash a me issue than it is a pink and main embossing folder issue. But what that does mean is we could put our sentiment directly on here, which is kind of cool, and put our cup right on top. And then I don't have to use a sentiment strip because it's flat. I didn't intend that, but I think we're going to call it a happy accident. I think we're pulling a Bob Ross today, and we're just going to go with it instead of you guys listening to me fight with my machine. And it's probably also my fault because I got a new plate. I was so excited to tell you that I'm using a new cutting plate, and now I think my cutting plates are like rebelling against me. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make that a sentiment, and we're just going to start coloring because when everything else is going crazy, I know that I'll have a good coloring session. Okay, so let's make a really cute box. What colors do we need for a really cute box? Yeah, those will be good. We're going to start with E19. Oh, Ashani said she added this to her wish list. 100% good decision. I love this set. And like I said, even the little bear could definitely be used, the fox too, in the winter. I mean, the fox could probably just be year round, honestly. This line at the bottom is so thin. I'm just going to fill that in with that E19. I don't want this whole thing to be solid, so on the bottom, we'll just fill in the outer edges. Then I filled right above the nose. We're going to come down the outside on the side of the face. Pull that around the back a little bit. And then there would be a shadow on the inside of the handle and where the handle meets the cup. Then we're going to go with YR18. That's going to be our medium. And we'll start pulling out that color. And wrap that around the back. I'm filling in a little bit of that back circle as well because we're going to add in some cocoa, coffee, or whatever. And you can mix and match these stamp sets too. So if you have the Mugs and Kisses and you wanted to use like the whipped cream from that in one of these mugs, you absolutely could. Wanted to show it on its own, just so you guys can see how cute it is by itself. And then our highlight is going to be YR15. And that's going to bring all of that kind of honey warmth to our card. Definitely going to want to make sure that the 15 and the 18 overlap to help smooth out that blend because there's so much more yellow in the 15. We'll probably use those same shades for some of our leaves and our pumpkin. And then I want a little warm, toasty face. So maybe 50s. We'll go 53 and 51. And I'm going to bring the 53 kind of right over the top, those arches over the eyes. And then right along that chin. We'll go in with 51 and bring that color just a little bit further in. And we'll just blend that out with a colorless blender. Just kind of flicking in some of that. Then we obviously need a super cute pink ears and blush. So we'll bring in R21. We could do R20. 22 might be a little bold. I just think especially for these like cartoony, cutesy mugs. Well, that made it look like a cat. A pink nose makes it look like a cat. So we're going to give that a second to dry, and we're going to go over that with like a W9. If you wanted to make a cat card, though, you could swing this cat, make it gray, add the little head stripes, and you could tell me this was a cat, and I would believe you. There we go. Back to fox. Just that quick. So there's our sweet little fox. Oh, let's give him some coffee. Let's go E27 is called milk chocolate. It sounds like a pretty safe bet. So we want to kind of follow that curved line. You could take it right up to the edge. I kind of like leaving a little bit of space there. Okay. There we go. There's our little cocoa mug. Cute. And then you can see how these colors are working with that background that we inked. But you can also see, I think, how if we put that right on, it's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of cute too. But now that I made the perfect on accident background, we have to use it. I just really love that pattern that we made. Melissa, yeah, the time change is getting to me too. My brain does not understand why we're still going. Okay, I don't want any, well, I need a little bit of green for this pumpkin. So let's grab a little YG. We can add a little hint of green maybe to like one of these leaves. So we're going YG 99 on the leaf of the pumpkin and maybe like one side of one of those leaves. And we'll go all the way up to 95 just because there's not a lot of space here. And we'll just blend that out a little bit. So it doesn't look like completely out of place with one, although we might not even use the pumpkin. I don't know yet. We're going to see how those all work out. Let's grab some Y26 mustard. Blend out that leaf. And then we can bring in that more of that 15 that we used on the fox on like the edges and this side. Zoom in more. As zoomed as I can get. Hopefully that's a little better. Okay. Maybe I don't even want the pumpkin. Maybe we'll just do the other 4. Let's go in with the same colors from our fox, that E19. Coming from the bottom on one side and from the top on the other. A little bit of that wire 18. Go back with the wire 15. And this one's going to be way more on the yellowy side, where that one's going to be way more orange dominant, right? We can bring in that that mustard wire 26 from this one, just kind of on the edges here. They're all different shapes. We know they didn't come from the same tree. It's probably really overthinking it, but then it's nice to not have to like beat yourself up or worry about that. So like they don't have to be perfect or a match. So then I brought in some wire 12, which is a little more soft and neutral. So there we have our fun kind of watercolor looking fall leaves. I've decided I'm over the pumpkin. I don't like him anymore. And we'll bring some of that those 20 markers that we used for that hot chocolate, we can use on this acorn, and that'll kind of loop everything in together. So I'm going to add a little shadow right under the stem of the cap along one side, and then some shading on the left, and on the right I'm only going to add a little emphasis to the cross hatching. Right? Can you see how like I ignored the cross hatching here? The whole thing is shaded. And then as we move over, we're only emphasizing that cross hatch. Thank you guys so much. I really love coloring, and I'm glad that I get to share it with you. So with the 27, we'll pull that over about halfway and then just kind of thicken the crosshatch lines. And we're also going to add this to the left-hand side of the acorn. I'm just arbitrarily picking the left for all of the, like, whatever side you pick for your shadows, just make it consistent across that image and you'll be okay. So because the top got shaded on the left, the bottom's getting shaded on the left. And then we can go in with the 25. Right, so we get that really cute little acorn cap. And you know they need some highlights. So we're gonna go in on the bottom part of the acorn because the top would be all bumpy. So the bottom would be smooth and shiny, that gets a highlight. The handle of our mug can get some highlights. And I have seen people do some absolutely amazing stuff with their highlights and like how they add all their dots. I literally just do multiple point exclamation points. Like that's the extent of kind of how I've figured out my style that I like on these. There's no other secret that I can give you. If you are somebody who loves that look, I highly encourage you to check, Instagram, Pinterest. There are many people who do amazing highlight details that are not me. If you are intimidated by that kind of thing, by all means, copy me completely and do fun exclamation points. Because I used to try to like mimic other people's, and it just got so stressful in my head that it stopped being fun. And when my coloring's not fun anymore, why would I keep doing it? Try different things, test out to see what you enjoy. While that white gel pen dries for a second, we're going to go in and stamp our sentiment on this very interesting knit background that I have made. with our warm autumn blessings. That's literally just gonna fit perfectly right in there, like it was meant to be. So weird. So perfect. Thank you to whatever crafting gods are looking over my shoulder tonight. We're gonna try walnut stain. It's gonna just be a little bit softer than black, but the distress inks are not the best for stamping. So definitely you're going to want to use, if you're going to use them, you're going to want to use a stamping platform so that you can stamp them multiple times in the same spot. Otherwise, you are definitely not going to get a crisp um, sentiment or image. Thank you, Barbara. Yes, my exclamation points do the job for me, right? And that's the important part. As long as your cards or your art is good for you, then you're good. So that's gonna go like that. So cute. I'm so tempted to trim this down even more though. We'll see what it looks like once we get all of our pieces die cut. If there's a lot of space around the fox, we might trim that knit panel down a little more, not because I'm mad at the knit, but just because I love that background so much. Okay, so we need our leaves. Let's see. Oh, and there is steam for these. That's cute. I forgot that. I don't think we need it, but you can stamp a little curly Q steam image over these. Or like I said before, if you have the Mugs and Kisses holiday one, you could use like the whipped cream from that. Or I think there's like a cinnamon stick too. Definitely could do the cinnamon stick for fall. That would be super cute. Little tape strips are too big. I'm curious if anybody watching or watching the replay later, if you guys make Thanksgiving cards, do you send Thanksgiving cards? I love, if I know we're going somewhere else for Thanksgiving, I love bringing a card as like a host gift, right? Like a card and some pretty flowers, or if you're bringing food, like you're contributing. Um, I just think having a nice fall themed thank you card on Thanksgiving, um, especially if somebody's hosting like the family, right? Like that can be such a daunting job. So having a special thing that you've spent your time on for that person is so nice. Hey, Jennifer. I see Irma checking in too. Let's get all these back on there. On their little sheet so I don't lose anything. Also, super random. Next week starts sneak peeks for this month's release. So get excited for that because we have some really fun things to play with. But also, there are still some Pink and Mean advent calendars available, it looks like. I left the link in the description for anybody who hasn't gotten to check them out. I think that's the perfect size. But I know that there is a limited supply of those advent calendars because Michelle and the ladies at the Pink and Main office, like at the store, worked their butts off hand packaging all of those. So they're once they're gone, they're gone. So if you are interested in an advent calendar, Michelle did tell me that she would send one to us so that we can use it in December. I think I've decided I don't want to do spoilers, but I think I've decided we're gonna like pick a couple days when we're live and just like open them and have to incorporate that item somehow. We'll make it like a challenge. I think that'll be a fun way for us to check it out together. But I have no idea what's in them. I haven't seen any sneaks. I don't have the inside scoop. I did just put foam tape on the back of this panel. I love that. Deb and Irma said they both make Thanksgiving cards for their friends and family and besties. I love that. Deb, I would argue that your besties are probably family. I know my bestie is family at this point. My girls call her aunt and everything, so. Oh, good, Barbara. I'm glad you like that idea, to do like a challenge with the advent calendar. All right, so we pop that up with some foam, and we're going to figure out how to situate all these like little leaves. We can put some up there. We could put one down here in the corner. That's kind of cute. Hmm. See, now I'm thinking I should have probably made that color the pumpkin. Maybe swap. Maybe these need to go on this side because I don't like the two leaves there because of the handle. But maybe if we put the two leaves on this side where there isn't a handle. Yep. That's pretty cute. Okay. Oh, and you know what else? Because we don't have foil this time, we need some stones. We need some glitter, some shiny stuff. Okay, so we're going in with easy squeeze glue. And I'm going to be a little more generous with the glue than I normally would because there's so much texture on this background. I want to make sure that wherever we're adding it, it's like actually touching paper and sticking. And you know what? I'm probably going to add my leaves to the back of my cup versus trying to like slide it in. Because again, with all that texture, I'm concerned that it's not going to lay right. So that one. And now we can just treat this like one piece. Oh, Shani said she ordered the advent calendar and she likes that challenge too, right? Having to incorporate the whatever we get that day into a card. It's like a little like craft roulette. If you guys haven't seen that show on YouTube, it's so good. I'm going to be on, shameless plug, I'm going to be on Craft Roulette on Black Friday, and I'm very excited. All right, that is our little images down. Let's see. I'm just worried these ones are so dark. Yeah, that's too dark. Do we want orange or do we want cream? Let's see, are you too light? Oh no, I like that. They don't just want like two. Where are we going to put another one? Oh no, I don't know. Oh no, now I don't like it. It's too much. Okay, I'm not going to force it. Okay, so Craft Roulette. I opened a can of worms. Craft Roulette is a show on YouTube um, where there's a different guest every week and they spin a wheel that gives you random parameters um, for what you need to create. So they give you different colors, different elements you need to put, what the actual project is could be different. So you get assigned something random, and then everyone who watches is encouraged over that weekend or week to make whatever fits those parameters. And you can use, if you can argue that it fits, then it counts. So you could like very loosely interpret stuff. So they're on every Friday. I am very excited to be on again. This will be my third time, I think. Um, but yeah, maybe we can do, I think though that for now, the Advent calendar will kind of be our version of that for December, but maybe going into the new year, we can talk about, I can talk with Michelle about some kind of fun challenge type thing. Maybe we can make something like that for ourselves, even if it's like once a month or something. I like that idea. Let me stew on that. If you guys have any ideas, you can always leave a comment or DM me on Instagram. All of the links to my social media is down below. That is our super sweet card. I'll show you that, this one and the Christmas one side by side. So you can see how they're the same idea, but a different feel, and how this one really does now feel that cool, crisp winter feel. And this one is so much more warmth to it. So both are super cute, not having to like reinvent the wheel layout wise. But yeah. Oh, now you guys have my head spinning with all kinds of ideas for challenges and stuff. I will definitely figure that out, and we will do something fun. So thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I hope that you enjoyed this fun fall card. Here, I'll show it this way too, because we know every time it ends up looking a little bit different on my phone than it does on the overhead camera. So yeah, I just really love this. I love the idea of thanking somebody or everybody on Thanksgiving, kind of trying to get back to the heart of, that holiday. I know for some people, Thanksgiving can be pretty controversial too. So if you enjoy making cards, it can be a way of gifting and thanking yourself. But yeah, if you have any ideas or suggestions or questions for Thursday's live, please leave me a comment wherever you are. I will find it on Facebook or YouTube. But yeah, otherwise, I'm just so excited and so grateful to you guys. I will see you back here on Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And until then, happy crafting, guys. Good night.